This video was made possible with the support of FotoKem, Burbank, California, and the Science Museum IMAX in London.
Greetings to you all! It has been almost 3 years since the release of the Oppenheimer, the movie that finally earned Christopher Nolan his long-awaited Academy Awards and reignited worldwide interest in large-format motion picture film. Now we are about to witness his most ambitious project yet, The Odyssey, the first full-feature film in history that was shot entirely using 1570 IMAX motion picture film cameras.
Inspired by Homer's ancient epic, the movie follows Odysseus on his long and perilous voyage home after the Trojan War.
While Odysseus had his own extraordinary journey, every physical film print of the Odyssey is about to embark on a remarkable voyage of its own. In this video, I would like to show you the journey of the print number 33. From its creation at FotoKem in California, across the Atlantic Ocean, through Heathrow Airport, and finally to its destination, the Science Museum IMAX in London, where it's gonna be presented exactly as Christopher Nolan intended, on genuine 1570 IMAX motion picture film. Join me as we follow this extraordinary print from laboratory to the projector and witness everything that happened before the first audience ever sees a single frame. And just before we start, I have one quick request. Please consider subscribing, giving this video a like, leaving a comment or hitting the notification bell. And if you enjoy this kind of content and would like to help make future projects possible, please consider supporting the channel through YouTube Super Thanks or on Patreon. Producing videos like this often involves extensive travel, filming and countless hours of editing, and your support helps me continue documenting cinema technology, motion picture film and the people who keep these incredible systems running. All the links you need are in the video description below. Today, there is only one company in the world capable of producing IMAX 1570 release prints, and that company is FotoKem. As you can imagine, obtaining access to this process is exceptionally difficult, so I was absolutely delighted when the team at FotoKem agreed to share footage documenting the production of one of these prints.
Alright, so this is our large format 70mm printer where we do release prints on, and this is how we do it. So I'll read the light tape that tells us the footage, and I'll sync the machine. Then I'll thread up our picture negative.
Jeremy operates a continuous contact printer. The movie negative and unexposed film stock move continuously together at a constant speed. They remain in direct emulsion-to-emulsion contact. Exposure occurs through a narrow slit while the film is moving.
And then we would go dark, and then I would thread up the raw stock.
Just imagine the skill and experience required to thread the raw stock through this maze of rollers, where there is absolutely no room for error. And all of it must be done in complete darkness.
Yeah, that's the negative, and then this would be the raw stock that would expose the negative onto the print stock, which normally we would do in the dark.
After seeing this machine, I'd love to make a video exploring the entire process in full detail.
And then we would hit start, and you can see the machine run. And then in here is the light valves that shows the different color changes for how the lights for inside for the light point that does the exposure. And then when the roll is done, we would undo the stock, and then we could run a reverse roll. So we can do multiple passes at a time before taking the negative down.
Once the raw film stock has been exposed to the movie negative, it enters a positive film processor. The entire operation takes place in complete darkness. So the only stages we can show are the drying process and the finished print being wound onto a reel ready for quality control.
So we're going to read this print to make sure the control is all right.
Molly will use a densitometer to verify the brightness, contrast and color accuracy of the print. After the print is read and readings are within the tolerance, it is approved for release.
And let's see, it's print 22. So this is good to be shipped out. Hand it over here and Bruce is going to box it up.
And these all have been read and checked for color and syncs, so we know they're all good.
Depending on the workload at the lab and the requirements from the studio, print can be shipped as individual reels containing around 3 minutes of film each, to be assembled into a full feature at the cinema. Alternatively, the entire movie can be pre-assembled and delivered in flight cases, each containing roughly an hour of film. From Burbank, California, our print will travel approximately 5,450 miles, and 11 hours later, aircraft carrying the print touches down at Heathrow Airport. Once all the customs procedures has been completed, the print is loaded into a delivery van and begins the final stage of its voyage, passing through the busy streets of one of the world's largest cities. Its destination is the Science Museum. Arriving at the museum is only one step in a much longer process. Before the projector can be started and the audience can take their seats, the print must undergo a series of carefully planned procedures to ensure everything is ready for the opening night.
So the Odyssey film print arrived at the Science Museum in 3 large silver cases. The final part of the journey to the projection room is in our little film lift and is then taken out of the film lift by brute force. So once it's out and clear, we're able to tilt it, pop a little dolly underneath to help us roll it across the projection room. At this point, we take it off the dolly and lower it slowly down together to open the box lid off and take out the film from its wrapper.
Meanwhile, the take-up platter has been thoroughly cleaned and prepared, with the trailer added onto it, ready for the assembly.
With the cover off, it takes a little bit of brute force to lift it up and onto our makeup bench.
The next step is to join the tail of the trailer to the heads of the feature. For this task, Tom is using a 70mm zigzag splicer, designed specifically for IMAX. Since the film runs at much higher speeds than conventional formats, the splice needs to be significantly stronger and more durable. You may notice that some shots in this video were filmed under different lighting conditions. This is because the Science Museum IMAX is open 7 days a week, and the print assembly took place while the regular screenings were still in progress. As a result, we had to adapt and work within varying lighting conditions.
The wind-on process takes approximately 1-to-1 from our system, so if it's 50 minutes long, it will take 50 minutes to wind on. So with part 2 lifted and onto the makeup bench, we splice this to part 1, and that's our second join of the day, and we wind that on with a nice zigzag splice joint, which is very strong.
Finally, the third reel is loaded onto the makeup bench, spliced together with the second reel, and the wind-on process can continue.
Once that is complete, we pop a little label on it with its name and a collar.
While IMAX film carries the picture, it doesn't contain the movie soundtrack. Instead, the projector sends a precise synchronization signal to a separate sound unit, which plays the audio perfectly in sync with every frame. Tom will explain how this process works.
This is our new sound system. It's called the FPAC, and it allows us to load up our soundtracks, turn them into show lists, which then keeps sync with the frame count as it moves through the projector. Previously, we accepted these soundtracks on disc. That was the only format that we could upload to our previous sound system with, but now we have the capacity to upload through a USB stick as well. The FPAC still comes with a CD drive, just so that we can continue to upload our archive of soundtracks to the new system. So now we're ready to ingest the soundtrack for the Odyssey. I just go to Content, Ingest Content, and we should find the feature up here, Odyssey English feature, highlight it and ingest.
So now it's the exciting part. The film is totally ready for its first test run.
This brand new print will now be laced up for the very first time. The film leaves the platter through the feed unit and passes through a series of guide rollers before reaching the projector. On the input side, a set of particle transfer rollers, or PTRs, is installed. They remove any dust particles from the surface of the print. It is then threaded through the heart of the IMAX projector, the rotor, where Matthew carefully forms the rolling loop, inserts the field flattener, and closes both lens assembly and the stators. On the output side, another set of PTRs is installed, before the film passes through a further series of rollers and finally onto the take-up platter. Only once all of these steps has been completed, the print is ready for its very first test run.
So with all the hard work done, we've had the three parts of the film connected together, the soundtrack loaded onto the sound system. Those elements have been separate all the way. Now it's time to put them together, do a test screening to make sure it's all working and perfect before the first public show. So at this stage, we ask you to leave, Kim. Cameras off, and we're going to roll the show. Thank you very much.
During the test run, security measures are extremely strict. Behind the closed doors of the auditorium, one projectionist would typically monitor the screening from the booth, while another would watch it from inside the theater, keeping a close eye on a picture, sound, and the film itself. On the day of premiere, however, the adrenaline levels would be much higher. Projectionist would lace up the print once again, prepare it for screening, and carry out multiple checks to ensure that everything was laced up correctly. And now, with the doors of the auditorium open, the Ronson Theatre is ready to welcome its 400 moviegoers for premiere night. The only thing left to do is start the projector, confirm that the film is running correctly through every roller, and let the audience embark on this epic journey for the next 2 hours and 52 minutes, experiencing almost 250,000 individual frames, each one passing through this extraordinary machine exactly as cinema meant to be seen.